everybody, I am Liz, and today is day 7, the last day of the reading rush. I am so sad to see it end, but it was a fantastic ride. I read way more than I could possibly have ever imagined reading in one single week. It was a fantastic success, and I'm so glad I participated, and I want to thank Ariel and Raeleen for creating this reading rush, and also for Ariel for sticking through the BookTube-A-Thon and creating this into a fantastic readathon, reading week, video week that celebrates books and BookTube and everything. So I thank all the creators, sponsors, everyone for this fantastic week. Our last video challenge is hosted by Ariel and Raeleen themselves, and they want us to talk about the best book recommendation that they have ever received. And quite honestly, that is so hard because I've been reading for the most part of my entire life, and thinking about one single book that was the best is so hard. I've been on BookTube now. Tomorrow will be my 4th year anniversary. Like, that's insane to think that I have been not just here for almost 4 years, but also that I've read so many books and I've got so many book recommendations. And so it's so hard to just pick one. We all know that The Kiss of Deception, The Remnant Chronicles by Mary E. Pearson started my BookTube experience. I got this recommendation from Sasha Alsberg from A Book Utopia and so many other people in the BookTube community that I followed way back 5-6 years ago before I started my channel. I read this book and was completely blown away and wanted to talk about it. So that's why when the second book came out and my friend started her channel, I started my own channel, and the rest is history. But then I can't discount the amazing recommendations I've gotten from my friends that aren't a part of BookTube, like the Leviathan series by Scott Westerfeld. My friend Jamie recommended it to me, and it was amazing. Historical fiction, steampunk, that just turns history on its head with talking about the events that led up to World War I, and they just really just flipped it, and it was so amazing, and my first experience reading a steampunk book that I loved so much. And then I also can't discount books that are required reading from school. I read amazing books in school. Some I didn't like, obviously, but some I loved. I read this World War II Holocaust memorial book, and it was amazing, and I have no idea what it was called, and I'll never ever be able to figure out what it was called. I just remember loving it. And then in college, I read Being Mortal by Atul Gawande for required reading for my medical research class, and I absolutely loved it. I tabbed everything all everywhere. Ended up being my favorite read last year because I gained so much knowledge and insight on how America treats mortality in medicine, in nursing homes, and everything. It was just so amazing, and it just completely took my breath away. And really, it's so hard to just narrow it down to one book. So that is why I am talking about several books here. Some of the favorites I get from just everything, because you guys are amazing, readers are amazing, and books will keep being out there, and I just want to keep knowing more and more books, learning from them, learning about them, and just really absorbing their stories. So I thank you, and I thank everybody for taking me on these reading journeys and exposing me to books I may never have ever heard of before. And so I thank you. So without further ado, we're gonna hop, skip, jump into my morning wrap up from all the reading I did yesterday. I finished The Shack. If you watched my video yesterday, it was to complete the challenge of reading a book and then watching its movie adaptation. Little did I know that The Shack was actually William Paul Young's debut book, so that was an amazing find because that ticks off 2 check marks for me. And though I really, really enjoyed this book, the movie was a little bit of a letdown because of how much they changed. A few changes were for the better, but some of them, most of them, were not for the better, and they took out so many of my favorite quotes out of the movie just for sake of time and pacing. But there was not as much dialogue and banter between the main character Mac and God and everyone else that I thought it was a really disservice to this book. I really liked a lot of the dialogue that was in the story, and I was really disappointed to not see it transition onto film. And I did make progress on Archibald Finch. I read up to page 66, which means I read 60 pages of this baby yesterday, last night, right before going to bed. And though I might not necessarily be sure if I like the writing style entirely on this book, I am really interested in the story, and I really want to see what else happens to Archibald Finch in this crazy fantasy place that he gets sucked into. So I'm very interested, and I definitely will keep reading this. I don't know if I'll finish it today to check it off as another book, but I am going to try. But first, I am going to be reading Resisting Happiness by Matthew Kelly. I'm reading this book to fulfill the read one book in one place, one sitting requirement. So I'm going to go and hang out on my hammock and read this book. Hopefully it won't take me too long. It's pretty short. We'll find out. Then as soon as this is done, I will start reading Archibald Finch. I have finished another book. So it's actually a really interesting read. So, yeah. Only downside is it's a very Catholic Christian book, and as I've stated, I'm not very religious. So a lot of these self-help tips probably won't help me. But if you are a Christian or a very devout, faithful Catholic and are struggling, this book is for you. Hello everybody. As we all know, I said I just finished Resisting Happiness. It is almost 7 o'clock at night, so I'm going to edit and post this vlog and say goodbye to the reading rush, but I'm not done with the reading rush because I'm going to finish, hopefully, reading Archibald Finch. I'm going to read it all the way until I go to bed. So this is the plan for tonight, and until then, till my next video, remember that I love you guys. Bye!